Hey guys, what's up? So today we're doing something a little bit different, something I said that I was going to do from our last video. So if you remember from the last video, which was the Uber Eats driver purchases me some McDonald's, this was all because of an altercation that happened which resulted in the food becoming cold, and it did actually have the police presence involved as well. Not between me and the driver, I will add that it was between the driver and another person. Basically, he decided to park in the middle of the road just to drop off the order, and then the other guy kept beeping. It's not like I took ages to open the door. You know, with Uber Eats, you get the little notification to say your driver is on their way. As a courtesy, what I tend to do is I will be at the door and I will have it ready opened so they can just come in. Obviously with coronavirus, I keep a little bit of distance, so I just open, just say, can you leave it at the front door, not outside where the ground is, because I think that's a little bit disgusting, rather where the mat is at the entrance to my door. That way it's a little bit more hygienic. And that ended up being an altercation because it was stupid. It was really stupid because the thing is, the other guy who was impatient in the car, you know, he didn't have to get out of the car. It could have been a very simple situation where the guy finished his delivery with me, could have reversed out the road, and then that could have been done. You know, no one's life is so important that they can't wait a minute at most. My philosophy is I never inflict myself on anyone else. That's just how I am. I don't like to do that. I don't like other people doing that to me either. That's one of my biggest bugbears. I will not stand for it if people either bully me, because I am quite short, I'm 5'5". I get that from all sorts of people, regardless of age, race, ethnicity, sexuality, you name it. I've had women who are smaller than me, who have mouthier than me, have thought even like really early 20s, and I'm 29 now, who think that they have the right to speak to me a certain way, when actually I have more experience than them and they can't talk. So yeah, that's generally my policy. And with this video, like I said, I really got sick and tired of eating the McDonald's. I have honestly been eating them every day just to use them up. And it's like, this is the end of day 5 now. I'm really tired of it. Luckily, I finished the last of my McDonald's today. I think I've got one bottle of, I have a bottle of Tropicana left, and I have like one of the small kiddies Cokes. That is all that's left. Everything else has been eaten. Thank goodness for that. So I decided, rather than me go through the whole process of, why, getting another lot of McDonald's, I'm just going to be like, ugh, and just have to shove it in the freezer, and it, freezer stuff is all fine and well, but McDonald's freezing it for McDonald's isn't great. When they do it in a factory, they kind of have tested out the process so many times that they know the ideal way to cook it, that, all of these instructions that you're given. You can't really do that with a McDonald's, just ping it in the microwave, can you? It'll just go really soft and not nice, or maybe hard if you put it in for too long, and yeah, it's just not a pleasant experience. So what I'm basically doing is I found this eBay listing, and yeah, like it says here, there's an hour 49 minutes left, so we're going to be on here until I've placed my bid, and I'm going to see if I can outbid the last bidder to get the 30 packs. If I don't get this, I am going to actually go for a different one. I think there is one other one that's being offered at the moment for 25 packs, which is £59, and I will have that recording. I think it's due, the listing's meant to end like tomorrow at some point, so I will be doing that as well if I don't get this listing. Hopefully I can, and I will say this again, just to clarify, I am not a scalper. If anything, the individual that is selling this listing could be classified as a scalper. According to this description, it's dealt with the manufacturing, and so I don't know how they've had access. Do they have someone who works within that type of environment? Do they know someone within McDonald's? Do they know one of the managers? All interesting things to consider. But again, it's not my place to say. If they've got it genuinely and they've managed to just maybe got some family members or something to be able to assemble these, that's their issue, not mine. I'm not going to be spending, I've got kind of like a budget in my head. I'm not planning to spend over £100. Already it's up to £74, and there have been multiple bids. There are currently 8 bids, and I think those started off at, I think it was like £50. They've gone like skyrocketed already. There's also a £10 insurance on this as well, what they classify as insurance, because of the whole delivery stuff. So I'm hoping everything goes through. It's going to be fine, because already I'm going to have to, if I bid for this, when you add the £10 on that, probably go beyond the requirement. And like I said, I'd love to get the bid if possible, and I would be doing them in, I will stretch them out. I will admittedly stretch it out so that I can get like 5 videos. I'll do 6 lots, 5 lots of 6 videos to get that content out. Just to tell you a little bit about what's happening with my personal life, it's not much. I actually did have a presentation for my degree, my 3rd year. I'm just almost finishing, I've got one more thing after this. It went really badly. I mean, I'm quite nervous anyway. I have a lot of nervous energy. That's just how I am. I've always been like that. And it's partly why I've introduced myself to YouTube, trying to get myself a little bit out of that, not to be too overly nervous, and to have some kind of presentation about myself. Because at some point you're going to have to do that regardless of whether you want to or not. But I'm not very good at when things go wrong, shall we say. So I'll give you my example. 3 of us were working in a group. We have to do this consultancy project for a restaurant to try and improve. There's some problems at the moment to deal with recruitment within hospitality. So we were trying to find means and methods of dealing with it. So our plan was to introduce like a mentorship program in association with the local university and the local college. Because you've got 2 different skill sets. You'll have the knowledge set from the college students, who will probably have more practical skills, and you'll have more of the theoretical educational background, the analysis section, coming up from the university students. So when we went online, there were 2 assessors. It was initially supposed to be the main assessor, who we always knew who it was going to be, and we were supposed to have a secondary assessor who was supposed to be the client, the owner of that restaurant. Unfortunately, I think it's partly we weren't expecting him to turn up. We didn't think he was. It's just kind of the reality. He didn't really show that much or express that much interest. He just said, okay, this is what we're likely to want, so that's what we're going to do. And that's fine. He just didn't decide to turn up. We all knew that was going to be the case, so they had like a second marker, just because they need to make sure that the marks are fair and not... Well, they need to be balanced. They need to have 2 different opinions, 2 different lecturers, and even amongst that, when that goes through the review board, it will be qualified to make sure that from an external examiner, probably from someone from a different university, make sure that everything is right and, people haven't been given unfair marks, either too high or too low. So that's the point of that. Unfortunately, this is not the first time this has happened. My personal Zoom account works fine, absolutely fine. With my colleagues, the 2 people I was working with, when we were doing the practices over the last week, no issues, nothing. We use the university's Zoom account. Guess what happens? My computer dies on me. It crashes. It was so awful. It cut off, I'm not joking, at least 6 times. Right when I was presenting as well, in my sections when I was presenting, and I had my notes written on the side. It was in an electronic Microsoft Word document, so I could just kind of read from it like a script. It's not the most ideal way of doing it, but that's how I prefer to do it, and it was so bad. I couldn't remember everything, and I tried my very best to kind of keep it going. It was a 30-minute presentation. Each of us had to do about 10 minutes. And I did get to as many points as I could actually remember, but I was getting brain fog. I was just like, why is this happening to me? Why? And yeah, it did get that bad. It ended up being in a situation where not only could I not see a lot of the presentation, I could not see the faces of the people who were presenting. So I didn't know who was presenting or when they were presenting. And their audio kept cutting out, so it was like, what? I can't hear. And the lucky thing for me is that they could see that it was cutting out from their side, so it's not like I was making it up. I would not go through that much effort just to do that, considering how long we spent on both the report, the group report and the group presentation. I was thinking I would never do that. It was just so annoying for me to happen. And then we had a 20-minute Q&A. I think that's luckily where I was able to kind of clinch back some of my marks. It was very nerve-wracking because the lecturer said he likes to play this kind of game, which I don't think is particularly nice. It's very cruel, where he thought, okay, what he did is after both of them kind of set their questions and we answered them, I was actually quite good. I'd kept up with a lot of the research. I was listening to stuff about how the hospitality industry is having to incentivize people to come back into it. So, for example, in certain businesses, they have like a referral price. So what you do is you give someone maybe £50 per every person they manage to get into the business that's like friends or family, provided they meet a certain amount of time. Usually that's about a month at least before they get paid. And I think one of the big chains was doing that up to like £1,000. There are other companies, I think mostly in America, what they're doing is they're saying, you know what, if someone works here for at least, say, a month or two, we will give you $300 to that individual just as a thank you. And that's how that's happening. So I was able to answer a lot of these questions, which I think picked up my marks. When we got to the assessment criteria, it was when he came back to feedback, he was saying, look, what do you guys think you're going to be scored? For me personally, I thought, right, I'm going to get failed here because it was not good. And this is what I was looking at. That is how I was looking. I was like, oh God, I'm going to fail. That's what I was looking at when I was with my group whilst we were kind of in a breakout room. Separate to the lecturers. And they said, well, Peter, to be honest, I do have the power to separate your score from the other two so that they're able to get in different scores from you, but I don't think that's fair. I think you all contributed and therefore I'm going to give you all the same mark. I was just thinking, what does that actually mean? Is that bad? You could have accidentally, through your own fault, dragged all your guys' marks down. I was like, oh, please don't. And then the others were saying, oh, we're hoping we did okay. We did have to recover our situation because Peter's section was completely kind of decimated by his technical problems. And it was it was a nightmare to deal with. They were saying that they were hoping anywhere between a high 2-1 and a first. And he then broke the news to us saying, we have agreed to give you a low first. A low first is anywhere between a 70 and a 74. A mid first is like 75. A high first is anything from 76 onwards, Actually, I think a high first is in and of itself a different grading category. I think it's anything 80 or above for a high first. So I'm hoping he hasn't actually given us our scores. He won't give them back for maybe another 4 weeks. That's it's typically the turnaround time is 3 weeks, but with coronavirus, they extended that actually now to 4 weeks so that the lecturers don't have to be on Zoom calls like 24/7 and like go nuts. That's the reason they've done that, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm really happy. That is the first mark that I've gotten that is in a first. It's not that I'm stupid, honestly. I will tell you guys I'm not stupid. I have had quite a few problems between August and May, August last year and May this year, that have severely affected kind of like my grading. I'm not using it as an excuse because these were very difficult situations for me to handle, and it was not putting me in the best place. But I think overall, I will give you my scores. So in my strategy and leadership unit, I got 62 in the first report. We have these things called time-constrained papers, which is basically an exam. Normally that would be like a 3-hour sit-down exam. But because of our situation and everyone having to be distanced and, lots of international students, they decided we're actually going to have this running for 5 days and you'll have a question that you have to answer. I was able to do it. I got 67 on that, and I think the overall calculation came down to 64.5 as the mark for that unit. It's fine. It's not as good as I would have hoped for, but it's okay. At least it brought it up from the time-constrained paper. The small business unit I was disappointed by. I only got 68. I have studied business studies since GCSE. So I've had that at GCSE. I also had a BTEC a national level 3, so that's 4 years. And I considered like international hospitality management. A number of our units were also business studies related. You've got marketing, you've got finance, you've got bits and pieces of that. So I was thinking that is also going to count for another couple of years. So all in all, I would expect I've done at least 6-7 years of business studies. And I was thinking, I think they were a bit harsh on that. I think it was definitely worth a 75. It was definitely worth more than that. So, but it is what it is. My consultancy project, which is basically what this group report and the group presentation was, we don't have any idea. We were told for the group presentation that it's going to be a low first. I'm hoping it's a 74. Realistically, it might be a 72, or it might just be a 70. A low first. Anything above 69 is a first. So it could just be a 70. So we scored that. The report we're not going to get back. Submission was when was it? It was last Friday. So we won't be getting that back until date-wise. Right, so last Friday was dated the 21st. So we got the 28th. The 18th. I think 18th of June is when we'd get that back latest by. So that's fine. But we did actually have to do an individual report as well. We all tanked so badly in that. We all did so badly. But because we were 2 weeks behind all the other students, those who had chosen not to do like a placement and just decided to go back to uni for their final year and skip the placement, decided we'd just go for, we just go into final year and just graduate. That's all I want to do. I want to get my degree and I want to get on with the next part of my life. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit brighter than what it has been the last year and a half or so. But yeah, like I said, none of us did that well. The highest person got 52. I got 48. The next person got 45. And the final person who was actually kicked out of the group, she was actually kicked out of the group 2 weeks ago when we weren't getting any information to do with her piece of the assignment of the group report. We had to have an emergency meeting and we actually got her kicked out because all three of us had decided that she's not contributed anything, unfortunately, and we can't be holding on to her. It's just not feasible and it could have really wrecked our grades. So we had to I was actually the first person who kind of brought it up in our group meeting to say, look, she's not here right now in our group meeting. This shows the level of dedication she's facing. Clearly her third year of university is not making that much difference to her, and it's not that important if she can't turn up for like one of the last meetings. So I actually brought that topic up. I feel a bit guilty, but it's my grades, it's the other two grades as well, and we don't want to have that kind of infringed upon. And she failed at I think she got 36. She wouldn't even tell us her score. It kind of really had to be a group forcing her to tell us, which is just never a good idea. It's just how it is. As for my financial management, that's the one that I have to submit by the 4th of June, by midday. So that's the one piece of assignment work that I was discussing that I still have to cover. It's getting its way through. I'm hoping if this goes through today, I'm not going to do the eBay listing tomorrow. It depends on the situation. If I get outbid, then I'm not going to be doing anything. Then I'll proceed to the following bid for tomorrow. If not, I'll just be getting on with the finance, and I will have these videos recorded and they will be uploaded as well when I can. As for my issues and innovations unit, I got 61.2, which is quite a bizarre score. Don't ask me why that lecturer just gives like point something of a score. It just give me a whole score. Just give me a whole score, please. 0.2 of a mark. Oh, wow. Yeah, really. I was just like, but I know what she's like. Unfortunately, my workshop did really badly. My computer, again, here's the same theme. It's crashed on the university's Zoom account, so I'm actually contesting that at the moment. I will get that decision made in July or August, and then I'll be given a determination of whether I can kind of redo that or not. That scored me a 36, and if you combine the scores, that goes to 46. It sucks, because that's like a mid-level third, which is the lowest grade before a fail. Not happy about that. I don't think it's fair. Yeah, so I'm contesting that. I submitted my issues and innovations, the time-constrained paper for that. Again, that was submission for last Friday, so we'll get that back by the 18th of June. Hopefully I've done okay. I've worked out, just for me to scrape a 2-1 on that unit as a whole, I would need like 74 just to get 60%, basically. I don't think that's realistic based on how I've done so far in my grades, so it's not going to happen. It's just not, it's not happening. So I really have to contest it. For the time constraint paper, actually, I took quite a unique view, and I think that's what they were looking for, an innovative and unique view. That's kind of why the unit was titled Issues and Innovations, because you need to kind of think of new things that the literature has kind of missed. And I was looking at how we have something in the UK called Natasha's Law. The whole idea is, currently, as it is, food operators who produce food on site do not have to label their food with like the ingredients list. And unfortunately, this girl had actually gone to, I can't remember what it was, I think it was a Starbucks, and she'd gotten a baguette and it had sesame seeds in it. She's allergic to sesame seeds. She ate it, she got on a flight, and she died on the flight. It was a couple of years ago, so what we have in this country is we have like a notice period. So they will say, okay, we have got this law is going to come into effect. They'll make people aware this is the new law, and they say this will come into effect maybe the following year or the year after. So in this case, it was 2 years after the incident and when the law's to be introduced, because that's when they're going to be applying the law. So any operator, if any environmental health officer comes in, walks in and analyses anything and anything is off from that law, then they will get fined, or someone might get jail term at worst case scenario. So yeah, my whole idea is that, okay, you've got larger kitchens that have the ability to provide, like, you know, they've got so much space that they could probably isolate the allergens until like final form of cooking everything. You've got smaller kitchens that can't afford to do that. So the best way for them to manage allergens is to use the free from market. Those are products that are free from certain allergens. So for example, if you wanted to cater for someone who has a gluten allergy, then you would have free from gluten, for example. That's what you'd purchase. And for a small business, it'd be fine just to purchase a few of those types of meals just frozen, because that way you've got something that you can prep without it being at all risky for you. Especially, you know, if they're working in an environment which is mostly deep fried foods, you can't separate allergens. For example, gluten, you know, if you're doing, you know, battered cod, gluten's going to end up in the fryer. You can't clean the oil from the fryer every 2 seconds. Firstly, you can't because it's hot. It'll be 180 degrees at least. And you try draining that at that heat, it will melt any container you use, or, you know, significantly burn you. That's probably the more pressing issue there. So you need to be able to kind of provide an alternative. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to go okay. I'm hoping everything's going to be fine and that I can just repeat that one part of the unit for August. I'm going to be looking for jobs, hopefully, once the financial management unit is submitted. I don't know what specifically I'm going to do because there isn't really anything in my area that I want to do. I want to look at something called becoming either a production planner, a food buyer, something across the supply chain, anything along those types of lines. That's the type of business I really want to work for. And that's the area that I'm most desired to work towards. Alternatively, I am also trying to kind of finance myself for a master's as well. just to get myself a foot in the door. If I need to kind of specialise a little bit further into the industry, I was looking at things like the University of Hull or the University of Lincoln. They do have supply chain master degrees, and the best thing about it is it's a 2-year full-time course, but it's for it's purely online, so I could work alongside it and it's not going to be so much of an issue. I was also thinking of, since I will be graduating, hopefully setting up maybe like a small business where I could like tutor people. I'm perfectly qualified to tutor people, considering that, I will be passing this degree, and I would be looking at supporting either hospitality or tourism or even business studies, because that's kind of my background. And I would be kind of I am in the stages of like finalizing a website for it. I was going to do like a 2-fold website. I was going to have one section of it which is a lot to do with like my interest in baking. I have been looking into stuff to do with like postal things. So like postal fudge is like big on things like Etsy. I was going to have my own Etsy store. But I also want this kind of like consultancy phase as well. I would be looking at kind of charging for that just to kind of fund myself. I did look at my student loan finance agreement. I'm going to be graduating with almost 70 grand worth of debt. Yay me. No, it's not fun. I looked at that, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's a lot of money. So yeah, if anyone is looking at studying anything to do with hospitality or tourism, I will be designing the site. I want to be able to kind of support other people within the industry. But of course, my time is worth money. It's not going to be free. I'll be reasonable as well. I think like £50 an hour or something along that, or something along those lines, just to earn some cash, because I just really need to be earning cash now. That's also why I'm kind of doing a longer stream. I wouldn't traditionally do like a long stream. It's more about getting you guys to know me a bit more. It's about trying to build my audience. That's one of the things I'm really hesitant and I was so nervous about trying to do. I have been watching a lot of different YouTube channels. Some of my favourite are like Annie Dubé, or I think that's her name, or things like channel makers, and their advice is actually, if you want to look at building your YouTube channel, and this is from them, not from me, it's not necessary to just look at subscribers or the number of times your content has been viewed, but actually to be able to build that audience. And that's generally what I want to do. Even now, I'm just trying to tell you a little bit about how I am. This is how I am. This is my nature. I am a little bit of a scatterbrain. I can be very kind of like timid. If I was to be described as any type of animal, I would be, like a chipmunk or a squirrel. Maybe one of those little red squirrels, the small ones that have been kind of chased out by the American grey squirrels. One of them, I think that's probably what I'm like. It's my personality. I've always been like that. I've always been a bit timid. When my parents kind of used to push me to meet people, I'd kind of like hide behind their back as like a 5-year-old. And I was just like one of those kids that took like forever to kind of get used to people. Even as I'm graduating, I still very much maintain that type of personality. Not for any other reason, but it's just how I am. It's nothing I can do. I was reading something to do with psychology, and it was very much, once you turn 18, 60% of your like core beliefs cannot be changed. Like, you cannot physically be changed. Your attitudes, your very core beliefs cannot differ. They will always be that level. They cannot be influenced by anyone. Think of it a little bit like an onion. You've got multiple layers, and there's this little, like this really hard layer in the middle that you just can't get through. No matter how hard, it's impossible to do that. That is very much where your core beliefs lie. And I find that quite interesting. It's just kind of like how I am. Anyway, we've got 1 hour and 21 minutes to go. When it gets down to the last 5 minutes, I'm going to start getting like really antsy and a little bit nervous, but So it's basically listed until 4:30 UK time. I have not seen any more bids. I was actually planning, because I can't see the bid, to maybe put it as like £90. I know that might seem a little bit crazy, because that would make each of those packs worth like £3, just over £3 each. But I think that's okay. It's like £3, 3 pence each. I think that's fine, because I'd rather do that than have to get 30 Happy Meals. 30 Happy Meals, no, too many chips. Luckily, there's small portions of chips, so they were easy enough to get rid of and just finish. But yeah, if this stuff to do, I know at the moment you guys know about the Pokemon market. It's kind of it's reducing it. It's calming a little bit, and I'll give you a little bit of my take on that. My opinions of the Pokemon market are very much linked to coronavirus. If you take... I can only give you my perspective as a UK national, what I see within the UK. So, whilst we're here, and this is just what happens to me, I don't know what it's like in America, I don't know Japan, France, Spain, wherever, I just don't know their specific situation. But here's what I think. Because we are basically going out of lockdown, our final release is classified on the 21st of June if everything goes well and this Indian variant doesn't get worse. Please don't get any worse. I need my freedom. Yeah, so long as it doesn't get any worse, we're fine. And I think people have gone back to work, people are starting to earn money, and that means they just don't have any time for the hobby. It's a shame, but actually it might be the best thing for it. People have kind of gone a little bit mad and nuts, and it's just been one of those situations that's just not very helpful. It's just how things are, and it's okay. The other thing I've got to think is some people are just not going to be able to kind of afford it as well. Even this bid is quite high. I know it's for a 25th anniversary set and you've got special indications, which is also the reason why I think this is as high as it is. But other than that, I don't know what's happening with the 25th anniversary set, which one is it going to be? Is it going to be Chilling Reign, or is it going to be the other one, which has been newly announced? I think that's coming out in August. I can't remember the name of it, but it's something Skies. If you guys know what it is, you could put it down in the comments. And the other thing I was going to say is I was actually going to initially live stream this to the channel immediately, but I thought if I attract people to this listing, I'm going to bump up this price further, and I don't want to be doing that. No, thank you. I'd rather less people know about the listing. I will have it uploaded, I will have it ready to go, but I just don't want people to be, outbidding me. I can't, I'm not rich. I'm okay, but, I'm not rich. And so, that's the plan, just not to go overboard here. Anyway, like I said, with the coronavirus, people have gone back to work. They might have lost a little bit of hope with Pokemon at the moment. They might have been disassociated with it, or disillusioned, or it might be that, they see the prices on some of these cards and they just think, I just can't deal with it. And I can understand the market has been quite strongly fueled, and I feel... Right, a lot of the PokeTubers I would not blame. I would say, okay, they are doing what is natural, they are looking at the market and they're trying to make money where they can. Obviously, they'll have their shipping costs, their additional costs, and it's just part of that whole thing that, they have to make some money. And if the boxes that they're trying to get from distribution centres or wherever they manage to find them from are offering them at extreme prices, they have to not only buy them at that extreme price, which they don't control, but then to make a profit, they then have to put a percentage above that. They've got to think, if they're a one-person operation and they have a very small store, they don't have any labour costs outside of themselves. If they're a little bit bigger and they actually have to use warehouse facilities, or they need to be in contact with other people, or they need, even someone to add for admin purposes, they have to pay out labour costs to those individuals. that means they're relatively making less profit than you think. You know, there might be one or two that do manage to make significant profit, but I would argue that a lot of them that do make big profits might be doing so from lots of sales rather than just generically putting, like, doubling prices on everything. And again, they're not going to tell you how much they bought things for. Firstly, it affects their market because sometimes you have things like non-disclosure agreements that will be discussed between the distributor and, say, for example, the PokeTuber, and then they're not able to really discuss that, because if they do, the distributor can say, right, you've told them this information, we don't want to be dealing with you anymore. It's just the way things are. And people are very secretive when it comes to money anyway. You will see things on just regular YouTube channels where they will not tell you a bean. They will not tell you at all. You have to be very, very lucky, or someone who is that honest and likable, to be able to say, hello guys, this is honestly what I make from my channel. And I just don't see that happening. I think it's also to do with a lot of power. You've got to think the people who have the biggest influence are actually a lot of these businesses, because when they put ads on YouTube, you know, YouTube gets the money and then it gets kind of some of it gets trickled down to the YouTubers. But generally, most of the money is kept by YouTube. I can understand why, because they need the cost of maintaining the servers, they need their staffing costs and such. So, and also we're able to, you know, provide these videos for free. We don't actually have to purchase access to be on these websites. Because I think if they did that, then I think in that case you should make sure that all YouTubers that meet basic, you know, life-threatening content or nothing that's kind of discriminatory, to be able to monetize immediately. But because they're not, this is the situation we are. I think personally for the coronavirus as well, people have just been bored, and that's just how things have had to go. I am actually looking at maybe picking up Chilling Reign when it comes out, and also maybe some Digimon cards. I've got some really old Digimon cards when Bandai had them way ages ago. I'm thinking like almost 20 years ago. I remember them. I have a few. I've got like 10 or so of them. I can't remember what ones I have, but I had... Do you remember the episode of... For anyone who knows Digimon, do you remember the episode that they had in Digimon Adventure 2, where Kari was taken into this kind of dark world by these, I think they were Divamon, and then they kind of showed the shadow of the boss figure that was kind of controlling these Divamon? That Digimon I have that card for. I can't remember where I've got it, but I definitely have that, and it's something I will be trying to find, and I'll put it in a new video when I can find them. Same with my original Pokemon content as well, I'll be putting those out. I'm happy to do that. I'll quickly tell you actually my story to do with Charizard actually. I mentioned in the last video as well that I did have a shot at having a Charizard. I was in year 3. I was 8 years old. We had this kind of performance, you know, every year, like the years would do like a drama rehearsal thing, and they'd like put on a show. I was like someone who, I think we were doing ancient Egypt at the time, and there was a certain line that I had to do, and my teacher at the time, I think his name was Mr. Finch, if I remember correctly, that's his name. He said in the class the day after, if you do the thing that you did on the night show, I will give you a first edition Charizard. I did that, never heard back from it, never got the Pokemon card. It was annoying and it was a bit of a shame, but I think as well it wasn't particularly good that a teacher promised a student like a card, because I was very young and impressionable at the time. The least you could have done was kind of honour that promise that you made. Especially, you know, 8 years old, I'm not going to be that clued up on these types of things. So yeah, it was, you know, it is what it is. It's a shame, but we move on with our lives, don't we? And who knows what he's done with his Charizard, if he's managed to keep it or must have been in his late 20s, I think. So he might have actually kept it in a decent condition and probably has it available for sales at some point. Yeah, but I really like that teacher. It's just would have been nice to have kind of been given it. I was going to mention, since we're covering Pokemon anyway, what my favourite Pokemon are. In terms of generations, I wasn't too fussed. I do like Voltorb. For Generation 1, I just love the design. I love it. I can be quite angry as well, so that temperamental side of me I can kind of see within Voltorb. I love the presence of Magma as well. Its first entrance within the Cinnabar Gym, where it just kind of stamps out and, you just hear the music going. It was amazing just to kind of see the presence of it, and the shackles it kind of has on its feet and its arms just makes it look incredibly impressive. Generation 2 for Johto, I loved for Alligator. I think it's one of the more impressive ones. I also like Typhlosion, and I would say if I was going to choose a third one, it might be Donphan. I do like Donphan. I just love the design. The Hoenn region, Hoenn Blaziken, as I have mentioned before, I love the design of Blaziken. It's nothing in particular kind of sticks out within Hoenn that I can think of as of now. Oh, Aron. I love Aron. Don't ask me why. I'm not so fussed about Lairon and Aggron, but, if I had the choice to have a starter Pokemon, and it didn't have to be, the basic ones for Hoenn, I would always start with an Aron. I remember you could get one from, I think it was like the second city over. It's the one just where the fighting gym leader is. I think it's Dewford Town or something like that. And you could go in the cave and you get an Aron. I would always catch an Aron there. Definitely. And then I would always use it within my teams. It was definitely a Pokemon I really enjoyed using. The Sinnoh region, I wasn't overly fussed with Sinnoh. It's ironic considering that's the one that's being introduced again, kind of the remake. But I will definitely be getting that, and I will be playing some content with you guys, definitely at some point, as soon as I get it. What Pokemon do I like from there? Magmortar, obviously, evolution of Magmar. Electivire I also loved. Leafeon and Glaceon, I think out of the evolutions, those were my favourite pair. And I was glad they actually had some relevance and importance within the Pokemon series. I think in the Sinnoh region they were used by Zoe. She had a Leafeon, and May had her Eevee evolve into a Glaceon. As she had the first place she visited before she met up with Ash and the rest of the gang was to go to the ice caves and to get Eevee to evolve into a Glaceon. Generation 5 Univale was another one that was kind of like a miss for me. I think I remember where I was when they kind of started announcing some of the Pokemon. I was on a family holiday in Sri Lanka, and so I couldn't see a lot of the Pokemon. When they were kind of shadow releasing some of them, I was so annoyed because we had no internet. I had to go over to one of my cousin's houses, and she had really unstable internet as well, and it was just... Well, in my case, where I was staying with my auntie, we had no internet at all. It was just nothing there. So we had to, whenever we got to go to cousins, then I would kind of ask if I could have a look, just to see if there'd been any new announcements. And I remember, I think there was like the release of Swanna at the time, and maybe one or two others, and I looked at them and thought, yeah, I don't mind them, but do they really interest me? Probably not. But yeah, I was not... I did like, and I know a lot of people kind of disagree with this, the Simi versions and the Pan versions of the elemental monkeys. So you've got Pansear, Panpour, Pansage, and obviously their Simi versions, which are the evolution forms. I did like those. I think those were my favourites out of that series. Generation 6, Gala Region. That is a hard one. I think if you were going to ask me, I would say Pyro and Litleo were definitely kind of my favourites. It was the first dual typing of a fire and a normal type, so I think that was quite interesting. It was also the first introduction of the fairy type. I wasn't overly too fussed with fairy types, so I don't remember too much about them. Generation 7, Sun and Moon. I can't actually remember a lot of Pokemon from Generation 7, so that gives you an indication of what I kind of thought of them. If I was going to say anything about them, I would say that I did like Decidueye, the final grass evolution of the starter. I definitely enjoyed that, but the fact that they're all so forgettable for me kind of gives you that indication that they weren't that important to me. And as for the Gala region, the 8th and final one that's been released so far, now this one kind of stumps me, because I can't remember the Pokemon that have been recently introduced either. If I was going to say any of them, I might say, off the top of my head, Copperaja. I love the design of that, it being a steel type. I think that's an amazing look and design for it. I thought it was initially going to be like a ground type, but I definitely think that's my favourite for the time being, even though I'm not really that fussy at for now. As it is, time check, 1 hour and 3 minutes to go. When it gets to 5 minutes, I will be kind of looking at the clock type of thing, so I will kind of keep this up and I will kind of be paying attention to you guys, but I'll also kind of be just focusing on, on the timer and counting down as well. What else was there I was going to think of? Interesting thing about this is the packs that are being shown are the ones that are pink and green. I didn't get those in my area. I'll give you a quick look at the one we got. So I got these ones, which are the like greyish looking ones. I know there's another one you can get as well. I don't know whether that actually makes any difference or whether that's just a case of, that's just how they are. Hopefully, what am I... Okay, right, so I've got the next topic I was going to think of. What am I hoping to get from these 30 packs if I am indeed the winner? I've got most of them, so I would be fine with pretty much duplicates of certain ones. If I'm going to say that I want any, Charmander is missing. Chikorita is missing. From Hoenn, Mudkip and Trico is missing. Sinnoh, I think I got Chimchar, I got Piplup, and I got all of them for Generation 4. Generation 5, I am missing something. I think most of them I'm missing at least one or so. I'm missing Grookey, for example. So I am hoping to get maybe a few of these. If I want, the big money card currently at the moment is the Holo Pikachu. I wouldn't mind actually getting some more Holo Totodiles, but that's kind of being, a little bit greedy. I'm generally hoping to get some of them. I did actually get, I did kind of buy up a couple of the Happy Meals for last year where they had the card and the disc shooter. I got a Lapras and I got a Magmar, I think, from those. That was last year's promotion. Obviously last year wasn't mad. At the moment it's still kind of in that phase of being mad. I would never... Right, here's my advice. If you can't afford to be doing this, I would not advise to be buying up these cards now. I don't think you're necessarily going to be losing anything at the moment, but you only lose it when you sell it. So if, for example, you bought something for £30 and you sell it for under £30, then you've made a loss. if you keep it and you save it and you keep it in good condition, then there isn't really a depreciation because you haven't sold it and it's not in a position where it's going to be damaged, if that makes any sense. Now, my biggest concern is that's just how it is. So if you're kind of desperate to sell things, that's when they kind of get you. We're under the hour mark now, and that's, I think that's where the market bites you a little bit more. Do I think that's going to be that big of a problem? No, but if you're sitting on thousands of cards that you've invested on, hoping that they're going to get you a quick buck, probably not. From what I've seen, the people that tend to be making the most money out of this, outside of maybe scalpers, are the poker tubers, because they already have like an audience dedicated purely to Pokemon. So, they're going to be happy if they have that relationship with that poker tuber. They'll be happy if they get like something signed or like a special mention. For example, I do know on Randolph Pokemon that sometimes when he does like these box openings and he does the distribution on those, that he will kind of say, he will read out the message if there's like a shout out or anything to try and support his followers, his subscribers, or his like purchasers. So, for example, there are some people who have like a YouTube channel who say, "Can you shout out my channel or my brother or my sister's channel?" And he's more than willing to do that. And you'll have people who kind of do that, which is fine. But those are, the other thing is because they're trusted kind of channels who already do that anyway. They're more than happy to kind of part their money. Whereas with these listings on eBay, the slight concern only comes from how authentic and how likely you are to get exactly what you want. For example, I did put and admittedly this is my stupidity in there as well. The individual had actually broken all the booster boxes, and I had actually kind of opened up the cards and pre-sorted them. And basically he took out all the high rarity cards. And I tell you, he took out all the high rarity cards because there were none in there. For a booster box, you will expect to get some rares of some variety. Doesn't mean you're going to get all of them, but you should at least get a couple. So I definitely know that was a scam. And I'm the idiot who fell for it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. And to that extent, it's a lesson learnt. Again, it wasn't costing me too much. It's just kept with me, so I'm fine with that. And I did get a couple of, from the same set, I was able to get a couple of ghost rares and stuff from another lot, so that was fine, But I would try and check your sources. For example, with this at the moment, if you can't, you can see it here on the screen. It says seller information for Bits and Bobs 7297. There are 695, and it's 100% positive feedback. So he's sold this to that many people already. That gives you an indication that this person is legitimate. So that's all you can kind of expect. Hopefully that kind of stays the same, and we can hopefully be in a better position when things start to move. And we've got 56 minutes to go. Yeah, I didn't really plan this stream. It's just kind of like I entered it and I was like, let's go. Obviously, I'm still a bit grade happy from yesterday, so I was just otherwise I would have probably planned this out a bit better. I was supposed to be doing some exercise today. I should be doing some exercise today, correction. And I'll probably be doing that in the evening when I'm uploading this as well. I will probably be uploading this raw because I think they're just interesting pieces of information that I give you guys, whether that's relating to my life, my personality, or my views on certain topics. And yeah, I think that's kind of the way I want to be as open as I can be with you guys, and to get you to know me a bit better, and hopefully to get to know you guys a bit better as well, and maybe build that relationship if that's going to happen. I would say as well, if you can watch that video for the Uber Eats driver purchases my Pokemon order, I would greatly appreciate it. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more than the 6 views that I got for it. It wasn't an expensive video because 3 of those I got for myself. So, you know, it was the cost of 3 Happy Meals. And obviously the driver purchased the other 3. But yeah, I'm not heavily into kind of investing or spending. I do have, like, I've got the Blue Yeti with me at the moment. That's kind of recording my voice. I have got a Logitech camera, which is just above me. That's just attached to the screen. I found that actually helps with my audio sometimes. It seems to capture it a lot better than my computer's audio captures it. I've got my basic computer on me at the moment. I've got XSplit broadcaster up, and I've got obviously the page that kind of for the eBay listing at the moment. As for the other stuff I do have like a green screen. I have purchased one of those. I also bought myself a, what do you call it? Canon M50 EOS. That's the camera I've got. So you'll notice the thumbnail that I did for the previous video, that was taken on the Canon M50. But obviously the thumbnail wasn't good enough because it doesn't seem to have attracted you guys. That's fine. Hopefully in this one I can get a decent thumbnail on it, even if it's just for the... I might actually just use the listing as the thumbnail, just to see how that works. Try and experiment with my thumbnails a bit. But yeah, this is going to be a long stream. Like I said, I'm not going to be opening them on the stream, and they're not... I'm actually going to give you my responses as I open them, if I get them, because they'll be kind of set aside for me, and I'll do them as 5 videos, 5 lots of 6, so that'll be the 30 in total. So yeah, I'm hoping things go up, and I'm hoping for my channel to start growing a little bit more. At the moment it's in decline, and it's in swift decline at the moment, but yeah. I seem to be able to get some forms of growth in that certain videos I'll get like 1 additional subscriber, and then I suddenly lose like 3 or 4, and like, what's going on? Is my content that bad? I'm trying my best to try and improve it, trying to learn a few things as well. And yeah, I'll be going into my masters hopefully come September. And I don't know what else I'm going to be doing. You know, the future is the future. It's completely different. My plans have completely changed in the extent that I was initially just going to try and look for a job in what I wanted, but there's just nothing in my area, and I'm kind of tied to my area as well. I have commitments where I am, so obviously I can't afford to be leaving those behind. So my best bet is to kind of just be working in something else and just be earning the money to kind of pay off the loan if and where possible. But again, I will be setting up my own business. I will be kind of reviewing my website. I'm going to have a split section between like my delivery chocolate items and my what do you call it? And the almost like consultancy work that I'll be doing for anyone who's currently going through their first, second or third years for hospitality, business studies or tourism. And yeah, that's kind of how I'm planning to monetize. I don't really use Facebook, Instagram or Twitter that much. You'll notice I do have one for each of those, but I'm going to need to really assess those, maybe delete some of the junkier bits of it and kind of go through it and try and have a more methodical way of dealing with things. I've tried looking on LinkedIn to try and connect with people within that part of the industry, but you know, they're completely ignoring me, completely shutting down, and to an extent I understand what they're doing. If they are in a position where they're finding their own situations quite difficult and they can't financially afford it, that's kind of why they're not going to be doing anything. But yeah, it's a nuisance, and I just need to get somewhere. I just want to be respected. That's my biggest thing. I don't really, I'm not obsessed becoming a millionaire. I know some YouTubers are. I just want to be able to earn a living if I can from this, or from my expertise and the knowledge I picked up from university. Because I just don't want to be one of those people that kind of sticks their head in the sand and just gets on with things and then kind of gets picked on. Because that's kind of the way I've always kind of led my life, and people almost instinctively kind of bully me because of my height. Like I said, it's the biggest nuisance that I kind of have to deal with, and that's generally how I've been treated for most of my life. I tend to kind of prefer to keep myself to myself, just because worst case scenario, you get yourself involved with people who are, of a certain way, have a certain attitude, and it gets to a point where it just goes nuts. So it is what it is. We've got 49 minutes to go. That's hopefully going to do well from this, please. Okay, so my least favourite Pokemon, if you're going to look at it overall, that is a tricky one. I would maybe say Bellsprout. No offense to Bellsprout as a Pokemon anyway. I think the design is okay, but I just think it's one of those that is very forgettable. I know there are so many different ones that are forgettable anyway, but that's definitely one I think is kind of just easily forgotten. And yeah, I think it has seen some use within the anime. I know it was in the Indigo League. It was used against Ash's Muck, who ended up just kind of suffocating it, unfortunately, and it kind of fainted as a result. Now, other than that, it's not really had that much relevance. It also appears within the Johto region, within the Bell Tower, as one of the first ways, which is getting like a grass-type Pokemon, but it's incredibly forgettable. I would say I have grown up with all the series of Pokemon. I stopped watching the anime back in Kalos. I think this was just shortly after the second gym leader, which is the rock type gym leader. And I have not seen it since. I'm missing kind of from that point onwards. I have not seen Sun and Moon. I think I saw like one part of an episode and it kind of off-put me. Just the design was like, what is this? And I think Pokemon Journeys is on one of the streaming sites. I think it's Netflix, and so I don't have Netflix, so I can't access it, and I'm not prepared to pay for it at the time being. It's just not going to happen. I've got no income, so it's not on my immediate priority list. But it is what it is. So when that starts actually releasing, hopefully either on CITV, or sometimes it goes to CITV, which is like a kids channel in the UK, I might be looking to see it from there, or some alternative if I can. It's a shame that Kiss Anime actually got itself deleted just over a year ago, I think, because now there's kind of no immediate platforms for kind of every type of anime. Unless you obviously have to pay for it. I do use Crunchyroll. That's one thing I do use, but the problem is the licensing on it means that certain things stay, certain things go, certain things you want to turn up and appear just don't ever appear, or they appear at random times when you might not have the account or might not be aware of it. I've loved my anime anyway. Another one of those I like it's mentioned, it was Digimon. I'm a massive fan of that, grew up with that. Pokemon, I think, was the first. I remember as a kid watching it and being kind of obsessed with it. Medabots, I loved Medabots. They had like 3 seasons, which was like the second season was kind of like a split season. Well, I think the first season was just Icky getting used to Metabee. The second part was like the tournament, and then the third part was like the Kilobots, which were like the destroying emotionless machines that I think Cam created. And then obviously she gets to a point where she makes one that is so emotionless that it just destroys everything in sight. And then they have to kind of defeat it. What else? Beyblade. I always love Beyblade. I've not caught up with the ones after the Metal series, so I watched the original 3 series of Beyblade. So you've got that, you've got V-Force, and you've got G-Revolution. You have Beyblade Metal Fusion, Metal Fury, and there was another metal one, I can't remember. And then you also had the kind of spin-off of that, where you have the characters who are a bit older. I think it's called Shogun Steel. So I watched that as a kid as well. Well, not as a kid, actually, as an adult. That was only a few years ago. I have not seen much of the following series, which like is of its own like grouping within Beyblade. I watched like 10 episodes and I didn't like the main character that much. Volt Aoi, I think that was his name. So I wasn't too impressed with that one. So we got 43 minutes to go. Oh, please, may I get this listing? Yeah, I'd like to get this listing just for the content, and also I'd like another Turtwig. If I can get a hollow Turtwig, I'd love that. Oh, I need Oshawott. That's another one I need to remember that I need. I don't have a massive Pokemon collection. If you were going to ask me what I've got, I do have quite a few of the original series of Pokemon. Nothing majorly impressive. But I have so many Yu-Gi-Oh cards, it's unbelievable. It's just like crammed with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Pokemon cards, not that many. I've got probably under 500. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I've probably gotten somewhere over 10,000 of them. So that gives you an indication at the moment. We will see how it goes. So what else are we going to discuss at the moment? I try and keep things off of politics because the channel is kind of like anime based, so I don't want to go too much into that. I do have a couple of other channels which I am planning to kickstart as well. I've got a news based channel which is kind of my opinions and takes on certain bits of the news. For me it's a way of expressing myself, and because especially my brother he's a Gen Z, so every time I say something he doesn't like, he's, oh, you can't say that. It's like, yeah, typical Gen Zer. So yeah, I'm very, very much like, okay, I'm a millennial, I am Gen Y, but I find Gen Z to be even more snowflake than snowflakes, And I've said this before, I've told him I think he's the worst type of snowflake going, and my brother just ignores me. We're very different. What else is there? Yeah, and I also have like a food-based channel. It's not so much of a cooking one, it's more like going over food-related news. So it's like an extension of that, but from the perspective of as a food-style graduate. Not a chef. I'm not on the cooking side. Nah, the cooking side does not go for me very well. I'm not that competent. I can cook for myself, and I could probably cook for a couple of people. But if you're expecting me to do like a 16-hour service, like, I could not do that. Could not work at that pace, could not work at that level. And I just don't imagine that happening. Come on. Getting down to the last 40 minutes. So I am going to actually do a little bit further than this. Hopefully I'm going to confirm that everything has gone through. I checked my eBay account to check my old card was still on the payments. So actually prior to streaming this, I have also gone back into that and deleted the old card and replaced it with the new card. So at least that's kind of sorted. So the payment, it's not going to be an issue. It's going to be like an instantaneous payment. But I'm hoping that if everything goes well and everything goes my way, that it's going to be fine. Please. Let me say that, yeah, it does say it's planned for like it's going to be like a standard delivery, so that's fine, and it's estimated to be received on or before Tuesday the 1st of June, so I should get that in just on a little over a week, maybe. 39 minutes left and counting. Okay, as well. What was I watching? I have started, and this is a little bit different, I love a lot of the food shows as well. That's kind of where my interest is. I mean, I'm not professional in that respect, but I do watch a lot of things like Great British Menu and the Great British Bake Off, the Bake Off. I watch that. The Professionals started last night. Was going to watch it, but I've missed out on it, so I do need to catch up. I don't want to be too behind on it, but that again is just waiting until the finance is done. I know Great British Menu has actually finished. They had the finals last Friday, and I've missed about 2 weeks. I've missed the competing week where all the chefs compete from each of the regions to have whomever is competing actually get to that point. I also missed the week before, which was like the last of the regionals. I can't remember what regional it was. It was one of them anyway. So I've got 10 of those to watch. No, I don't have 10. For the regionals, they do a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so there's 3 of those, and the other ones are I think are daily. So yeah, I've got potentially anywhere between 6 and 8 to watch. So I'm looking forward to that when I get that free time back. Come on. Time's ticking. So if you guys have any questions that you want to answer, ask me in the comments down below. Feel free to do so. If I feel they're appropriate, I will answer them. If not, I might either ignore them or I might just give you like a brief answer. I'm not going to go too detailed into like my personal life. I am trying to see if I can do more Pokemon openings or Yu-Gi-Oh openings, but it's all dependent on what you guys think. I'm not prepared to kind of throw lots of money into something that you guys are just not reacting to, because it's not worth the kind of effort and the financial aspect of it. Again, it's all dependent on you guys, how you respond. Hopefully you respond well, so that in the future I can do more of these and maybe generate that type of interest. Hopefully that's the goal of this channel. Is trying to have an influence within the anime content arena, whether it be Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Metabots. I don't see that many people kind of discussing Metabots. In Inazuma 11, that's another series. I got used to that. I first saw that actually when I was I think I must have been about 18 or 19, and that was the first series of Inazuma 11. It was one of the only shows that was showing in the hotel in English, so I would kind of watch it because it was like the only thing I could understand. I don't speak Sinhalese at all, so I just kind of watch it, and I started getting used to it and I started enjoying it, and when I got back home I was able to kind of find the episodes, so I started watching it from there, and I've loved it ever since. Most anime I tend to like, but except for I'm not really into the gory ones. I will watch like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I think that's the extent to what I watched. Even that, I found that a little bit disturbing and a bit creepy, and it was a bit like, ooh. But yeah, it's just how things are. I've never been into like horror-based stuff. Anything like that, if you guys advise, I would not go for it anyway. It's just not my thing. I got scared, and I'll say this honestly. I went to a friend's 13th birthday party when I was 12. They went to Van Helsing. Yeah. Do you know what scared me the most? Whenever the werewolf appeared, it scared the life out of me, because you knew it was going to appear, and then it appeared instantly, and it was just like, oh. I jumped at least 5 times. It kind of freaked me out, which for most people they'd think that's tragic. Most people don't actually even remember Van Helsing from when I asked the people who are in my class. Well, I'm kind of the older one. I'm 29, so a lot of them are like 21, 22, so they're of an age where, you know, it's probably, well, they would have been 3 or 4 when that initially came up, so that's why they don't, you know, remember it, because they were barely walking at that time. So it is how it is. Come on, 34 minutes to go. I haven't actually had a look at the Chilling Reign set, so I might actually do that right now. Card list, and just go over my opinions of it quickly. I'm not going to have that on screen just because I am kind of wanted to keep this listing up and being aware of the times. But it says that... Right, it says here that the Pokemon trading card game is once again making headlines, as its increased popularity has caused some retailers like Target to stop selling cards for now. However, for many long-time fans, a lot of attention has turned toward the next Pokemon TCG expansion, Chilling Reign. For those looking to find out what upcoming VMAX cards will release in the new set, here's everything to know. The Chilling Reign expansion will release on June 18th, 2021. This time around, the latest Sword and Shield set is focusing on the Crown Tundra DLC. This means Galarian versions of Moltres, Articuno and Zapdos, as well as cards featuring Calyrex. As with many expansions since the mechanic was introduced, Chilling Reign will also have a good selection of VMAX Pokemon cards for players to collect and use in battle. So the ones that they're mentioning here is Blaziken VMAX, Celebi VMAX, Dracozolt VMAX, Galarian Slowking VMAX, Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, Metagross VMAX, Sandaconda VMAX, Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, and Tornadus VMAX. It says here that it's worth mentioning that this list is imperfect since there's been no official card listing for Chilling Reign yet, and some will most likely be cut and saved for future releases. Additionally, Chilling Reign will have 8 VMAX cards, so at least one of these Pokemon will be cut. However, both the Ice Rider Calyrex and the Shadow Rider Calyrex cards have already been confirmed and unveiled. Until an official listing of all Pokemon cards for the Chilling Reign expansion are released, there's no way to sure which ones are going to be introduced. So that's the interesting thing as well, because they've not really given much of... They don't give too much information. We don't know which is going to be the 25th anniversary set. We don't know whether it's going to be Chilling Reign or whether it's going to be this new, I think it's called Emerging Skies, is the name of the following pack. That was, the name of it was released like 2 weeks ago. So we've got that to wait for as well, and apparently the big Pokemon in that one is Rayquaza. Obviously, you know, Guardian of the Skies, it's famously known for being the Pokemon that seems to be able to separate the powers of the water, which are Kyogre, and the powers of the earth and the land, which is Groudon. And because it's the sky, you know, it follows on from that format that you have like 3 Pokemon, 2 that kind of fight each other, and there's like 1 that separates in the middle. That's typically the way things have gone. You look at legendary birds, you've got the 3 of those, but they don't really tend to kind of separate within each other and see which one is strongest. I would say probably out of the 3, Articuno is probably the weakest. If you look at the Pokemon movie 2000, where Lugia has to kind of like separate them, Articuno was the first one to kind of be taken down. So whereas like Zapdos seemed to be the most aggressive and actively fighting out of the three. If you look at Johto, so you've got Hoenn and you've got Lugia, those two evenly matched, I would say. Hoenn region, so you've got Groudon, like I said, Rayquaza, and you've got Kyogre. Rayquaza is considered like the one that separates the other two. Diamond and Pearl, you've got Dialga, Palkia, and you've got Giratina, but you've also got the god Pokemon Arceus. So that's the interesting part of that there's a different interaction. You've also got the three Guardians of the Lakes. So you've got Mesprit, Azelf, and Uxie. And so you've got those interactions with those Pokemon. Generation 5, you brought along like the Swords of Justice. So you've got Terrakion, Cobalion, Virizion, Keldeo, and you've got another few variations on Pokemon as well. My Pokemon knowledge just keeps slipping away as I keep going through so much like coursework that kind of like all the Pokemon knowledge has gone like out, which again is that's another pain that comes with adulthood. The things that you think are important no longer are, and you kind of have to, you either have to deal with it or you have to kind of hope that you can kind of make your career from that. 28 minutes to go. Let's see how we're doing. I'm going to F5 this just to see if there's been any new bids. No, there has not been any new bids so far. Quick question, guys. Will they actually inform you of any new bids? Because I'm not sure if they will. When it gets to a certain point. So I've got it now in red and it's kind of highlighting itself. Like I said, I'm going to bid I'll bid up to £90 and that'll be it. Because obviously the £10 on top. Hopefully everything goes my way. Please. It would be really nice just to be able to get the cards. And like I said, those will go up on stream and I'll be able to kind of show you guys them. Also let me know what you think to these streams, whether you want me to be doing some more of these. I love kind of talking with you guys. It's preferable for doing just like short form content. I have done, you will notice on my channel, I have started doing like some forms of short form content, like the advantages of certain Yu-Gi-Oh cards and the disadvantages of certain Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Those haven't received too much traction, but I'm hoping over time they might do. I will be balancing. I'm trying to experiment with the type of content I'm doing. I will be doing more short form, I will do mid form, and I will do some long form as well. But, it's just getting that stupid finance management unit done, and then I'll be good to go. Currently, I've been streaming and recording for 1:26. I'm also hoping that my internet kind of holds out, because yesterday it kind of cut off, and it was like, in my lecture, it was like, please, for the life of me, don't do this anymore. I can't bear it. This is my life. That's the other thing I was not happy about, that, my lecturer kind of thought it was funny to kind of toy with us. Okay, you think it's funny, but, it's our future. I'm not kind of, I don't expect you to kind of think that, I would rather he have not said anything at all than to kind of like, do you want to know? Do you want to know? What do you think I gave you? Type of thing. Because it's so infuriating. At least if you leave us to kind of wait, we're not kind of freaking out. But yeah. The interesting thing about this as well is, obviously, have you guys heard of now a lot of universities are getting hacked into? When it comes to, obviously, because they're carrying a little bit more money on them, a lot of their classes are now online and things become more online based. So because people know that universities have this kind of money on them, they do hack into them, so they will try and, request for a ransom. If not, or they will kind of crash their systems. So actually my university, I won't mention which one it is, just not prepared to do that. It's going through this two-factor authentication that you're now seeing a lot through just normal means. Even YouTube is doing that. They're trying to introduce that, and that's going to happen in the next week or so. Hopefully, because I'm graduating, I don't have to deal with that too much. When I tried logging in with my phone, it was a bit of a nuisance because I actually had to do that. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have to do that again, but we'll have to wait and see. I am just going to be back in a second. And that was just me turning off the charger for my phone, because it's been charging for long enough. I think it's okay. I think it's done. Come on, 24 minutes to go. So also in the comments, let me know which is your favourite type of Pokemon and what's your least favourite. Have you guys enjoyed Sword and Shield, and are you looking forward to the new Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? And are you actually going to be able to kind of get it as soon as it's available, or are you going to have to wait for your parents to kind of purchase it? For me, I'll be getting it myself. When I start earning some money as well, that'd be great. (23 minutes 28 seconds). That's decent. The time is edging closer and closer. I will probably put my bid in like the last 30 seconds or so, like, just so it doesn't go, doesn't end up being like a massive war. Less than 30 seconds. I'll do like the last 10 seconds or so. I don't really do too much on the bidding side of things. I'm not particularly experienced. It's never been that big of a deal for me. So we'll go and see if this is actually going to work. I know bidding wars have happened for Pokemon stuff, and especially since this is the 25th anniversary set, for McDonalds at least, and you can actually see it in the indication on these Pokemon. I've actually got the Pokemon that I received actually in one of these makeshift boxes at the moment. I will be putting them in sleeves, so I'll have them protected, but at least I was of the opinion that at least if I have them in something, then they're not going to get dusty. Better that than kind of leaving them out in the kind of the open air where, they're going to get damaged, or, things might happen. So please be okay. I have seen some ridiculous kind of like auctions as well for these. And it's just like going stupid. People are putting stupid money on this. At least for 30 packs, as it is, I can kind of justify the price, £3 a pack. Some of these packs you will be getting like normal pack price. It's like $3.99 for $3 or $4.99 for Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not so sure about these Pokemon packs, just like the normal ones, because I haven't gotten them for ages. So that's typically what those are, and that's usually for 9 cards. I know this is 4 cards, but one of them is guaranteed holo, and that's just how things are. Please be okay. Please get there. I also probably still have actually some of the original games of Pokemon. I think those are in my parents' house. They're not with me at the moment. I know they're just kind of stored away and tucked away. I definitely know I do have my Pokemon cards with me though. You guys are going to find this a little bit funny, but I keep them in one of these, if you've heard of Utterly Butterly, it's that spread. Don't worry, the container's washed out and it's clean. But yeah, I store them in that. And so basically I've got like an Utterly Butterly storage for them, which is quite funny in itself. But yeah, I just, couldn't afford like having a binder and stuff like that, so might as well just, 8-year-old me would have that. I used to kind of like play these weird games with the cards as well, never really the main game, but I was just a bit of a funny kid at that point. 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes to go. So, who is your favourite poker tuber, if you have one? Is it Frosted Caribou? Is it Randolph Pokemon? Is it potentially Pokenomics? Is it a Pokerev? Can't name any of the others. I know there are others. You've got Ace Trainer Liam is there as well. I know he doesn't do the cards, so but he's actually just released a video that I've seen. It was released about an hour ago. It's the Metromania Season 11. He's on quarterfinal 4, which is Azumarill and Azurill versus Electivire and Elekid. So it's the adult form and the baby form of each Pokemon facing each other. I definitely will be watching that straight after this because, I like the design of Metromania. I think it's very clever, very inspired, and I know there's a couple of people who have copied that design. But whether it's going to actually, I would love to do that myself, but I would kind of need 2 Switches, and I'm not really affording to do that at the moment. So 18 minutes to go. Like I said, I'm really happy now that I've kind of used up the McDonald's. It's like anything. You have just too much of a good thing. It just becomes like, too much. Luckily, because they were like Happy Meals, children's portions, they weren't, too like big. But even I found these days that even at my age, I can't eat as much as I used to. I used to be able to eat like lots of food. I could go to Harvester, I could have like 2 lots of the full plates of salad. I could have a starter, like a proper starter. I could have a proper main, so that would be like fish and chips or a burger, and then I could have like a decent dessert as well, like a chocolate fudge cake. That was like my favourite. And I'd also be able to have, my favourite drink was elderflower cordial, so I'd have that with sparkling water, or it would come with like sparkling lemonade, and it would be really nice like that. I'd be able to have 2 of those. I'd feel very full at the end of it, like almost like luggingly full, but I would not be ill. Nowadays, I can just about handle a hamburger, a children's hamburger, and like a half portion of fries and of chips and maybe a couple of dipping sauces, and that's it. And if I get anything else with it, I won't eat it until later. Like if I was to have like one of those apple pies, they kind of have to get shoved in the fridge. It's fine, or one of the donuts, they kind of be stuffed in a drawer until the following day or a bit later on in the day. But it's just how it is. I think as you get older, you don't have that same level of appetite. I think it's also my body's way of controlling its weight. I think it says, well, the less you put in your body, Peter, the less I'm going to have to work. So, yeah, after I'm done with this stream, I'm going to just purely upload this. I'm going to upload it raw. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I don't really have any special effects or things that I'm planning to do with it. This is an open discussion. This is just me being me. And if you like me, please, if you can subscribe, I'd be incredibly grateful. It helps the channel out. If you can like and share it, so much more, that would just be amazing. If you don't like the content, that's also okay. Everyone has their critics. Everyone has a different personality. Some people are drawn to certain personalities. Some people aren't. Some people can say that I am quite negative. I don't agree. I think I'm quite neutral. I try where possible to be neutral. My biggest thing is I never want to inflict myself on other people. I don't want other people inflicting themselves on me. So I will, even this would happen at like work, I would try and just keep my head down and get on with it. I would not try and have any company politics or company dramas, because, you know, I'm here to earn money, and you should never affect anyone's ability to earn money. You should never manipulate a situation in a position where you are affecting someone's ability to live. It's kind of like a founding principle for me, and it's kind of the way I live my life. And that's just how I am. I do kind of just keep myself kind of like head down, get on with it. And if people have some sort of, for some people, they take it like massive offense to it. I'm just like, why? And then they kind of try and force themselves against you. I've had people out of different cultures that have done that, and I was just like, and right, I will tell you the thing that I hate the most. I have, I'm quite, for me, certain things can kind of overstimulate me. Like some people have sensory problems. I have sensory problems for two things. Hearing. If I get loud noise, it freaks me out. It really does. I avoid nightclubs, bars, pubs, anywhere where there's like blaringly loud music, like boom, 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 like it freaks me out. It really does. It scares me. Some people really enjoy that type of experience, and they're fine to do so. I can't stand it. It scares me. The other thing is I don't like being manhandled, and I've had that before and it's not the guys. It's mostly female members of staff that have done that. And I don't know whether it's kind of like a power thing or what they think they're doing, whether they think they're being friendly. For me, I don't see it like that. I think it's like, if I did that to a woman, they'd accuse me of groping them. I would likely be marched into an office, told it was inappropriate, given maybe not even a verbal warning, maybe straight to a written warning, or potentially, if I was still on my trial period of like 3 months or so, be fired then and there. But it's like a double standards thing. For women, they tend to get away with that. You know, I would never be allowed to do that. I'd never want to do that. And the other thing I found is I do not like people kind of invading my space. I'm originally from London. I'm no longer there anymore. I spent too much time in London, and it was horrific. It's awful. You do not want to live there if you had the chance. It's not a nice place to be. They make it sound better than it is. It really, you know, you've got expensive places, you've got luxury places, you've got really nice places, but it's like just shiny little bits here and there. Like if you were to see like think of a shiny coin in the middle of a road. You've got that one little glimmer of shine. The rest of it is dirt, filth, and, you know, soil and gravel and, you know, grot. That's very much what I would describe London as being. You've got that one or two little shiny bits here and there, and then you've got like grot everywhere else. Ill-advised, don't go there. If you're going to go there, stay maybe for a week, but go to other places. London is definitely not the place you want to stay. Lots of people are moving out. I moved out 5 years ago. Even then, people were kind of moving out even prior to that, thinking, I can't afford to be here, I'm getting out. And that's what they did. So yeah, I didn't like London very much, and sorry if people think like the grass is greener. I think that's what a lot of people do think. They think, oh, the grass is greener here, it's nicer here, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, and it doesn't happen like that. You've got nice areas, and then you'll have terrible areas, all in the same, few feet away. That's just how life is, unfortunately. But yeah, I just hated that environment, so I had to get myself out. I just felt like I was being suffocated, and I felt it getting densely more populated, and like you couldn't breathe on there. You kind of like being shoved into these tiny places. I think this is why I get quite claustrophobic, because I just can't stand that type of thing. I need my space. I need that distance. And so if someone would invade my space, my first port of call is always to kind of distance myself. So I might look at my surroundings, like looking right, left and right, so I'm not in anyone's way. I might step back a couple of steps. If they continue to kind of walk towards me, I'll say, look, can you back off, please, because I don't like it. I know certain cultures, they seem to want to get, extremely close, and they're just like, move away, back off, leave me alone. And people can find that as rude if they want to. That's their problem. And I found this a lot with certain nationalities. I won't mention who, but I found this with a lot of the migration from the EU. So I give you that as an understanding of who I'm talking about. Don't seem to understand that British culture means that they don't want to be bothered. I don't like to be bothered. I don't like people kind of inflicting themselves on me. And that's just the thing that these guys need to understand. That's the be-all and end-all. We're down to less than 10 minutes. So hopefully when it gets down to 5 minutes, I will start probably concentrating more on these prices. Let me F5 refresh the page. I'm not seeing anything more for a bid. So here is what I'm proposing to do. I don't want to put in anything too high, so I think I might put 85 in. But I might put that in the last 10 seconds or so. Or last 5 seconds or so, just to try and get it through. Oh, the tension is getting up there. Oh, I was going to mention that I did actually try once to bid for a Yu-Gi-Oh collection. It was a really decent collection. When was it? It was about 3, 4. It's more than that. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago when I was working. I was working with someone else actually at the time on a weekend shift, so you don't really have any managers come. And I was actually using the company phone. Actually, I was on their phone, and I was going through the Pokemon, and I was actually calling my brother to say, can you make sure to put the bid in for this amount near the end, and unfortunately I got outbid. So yeah, it was a nuisance. It was annoying, but it is what it is. Come on, I've got a little bit of time to go. Just a little bit of time to go. So I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday at the moment. That's the day I'm recording this, and this is on the 26th of May. You can see that already on the timestamp there, so it's not like it's difficult to see. And you see the auction closes at 4:30 and 36 seconds, British Standard Time, which is BST. UK National, I'm used to this. I don't know what time it is. I know my channel gets a little bit of like an American audience, and it gets a UK audience. That tends to be where the demographics are. So I find if I upload at 9 o'clock that the American audience seem to be a little bit more accepting for them, depending on the times they are. But as for UK time, that's typically when I upload videos. I tend to kind of put them up pre-list them, so I have a set number of them that come out already. So you will see some discrepancies here and there, but I try and have daily postings to try and improve the channel and try and go through. And the one thing I might do is I will affect the audio on this. That's the area of editing I'll probably do for this stream at the moment. I'll go through that process. We're going down to the last few minutes. Oh, 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. So I will actually just look at the 8 bids as well. So yeah, it started off with starting price was £50. Someone bid that. Someone then bid 52. Someone bid 56. Someone then went to £64.66. Then someone else went to £68.66. That was bumped to £70. Someone bumped that to £72, and then the last bid, which was placed yesterday at 6:30 p.m. No, 6:30 a.m. actually. So there hasn't been any movement since yesterday morning. At £74. So, you know, maybe people, you know, maybe aren't prepared to spend that much. So it's down to me, so I might, when it gets down to like few minutes, I think my bid is going to be £80 and that'll be it. 4 minutes 46 seconds. Come on. Hopefully no one outbids that. Considering that the last time anyone, there wasn't really a bidding war, because really the price changed yesterday morning. So you might have this person maybe had bid on this yesterday and maybe is at work, or maybe right now is currently watching for the bid. So we'll have to see where that leads. But I think I will go with 80. I'm not going to go straight to 90 because I think that's just going to be too much. I also don't think people are willing to go any more than really that. Because if I go with that, then it's about £3 a pack because of the £10 insurance increase as well. I will submit the bid like with 5 seconds, like 5-6 seconds to go. Like 24 seconds to go, like 24 seconds to go. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go. I've got everything kind of sorted and, you know, done, so I've got to just wait a little bit. Please do well, do well, do well. Worst case scenario, I might get myself a McDonald's Happy Meal, but yeah, it's not the immediate kind of goal. Hopefully, it, like, come on. I'm going to F5. So I'll put 80 on and I will not submit the bid yet. When it gets down to the last few seconds, I will put that through. Last 5-6 seconds. I think 80 is fine. Guys, if you see the comments, put your comments down below now. How much do you think this is going to sell? Do you think this is going to actually sell 30 packs for £80? Do you think that's actually going to be reasonable? Or do you think someone's going to bump me out? Do you think it's going to happen, guys? When is it going to happen? It's going to happen now. I'm going insane. The second this auction, yeah, I need to have maybe like hot chocolate or something. Just maybe that might hype me up a bit. But you know, yeah, that's the thing for me. Like anything, I am so into my desserts. So like sugar is like sugar. I go hyper. Come on. Right. Yeah, and like I said, this isn't necessarily going to be a regular thing. It might be, depending on how you guys respond to this. Hopefully you guys also enjoy this type of content. And yeah, I will try and do some chapters as well to try and make this easier. So I might have sections which are discussing parts of my life and then the different subjects that we talked about. Just so you can kind of skip over to the bits that you're most interested in. If you want to see the whole live stream, I'd be very grateful for that. You know, it always helps. My watch time is currently on like 242 hours and it's kind of slipping. And I need it to kind of go a little bit up. Yeah, because the 1,000 hour, you know, the 4,000 watch hours, it seems to be a little bit impossible for me at the time being, so... anything you guys can do to help that, it's greatly appreciated and I would be ever so helpful for. I'm going to stop talking now because it's like the last 30 seconds, like submission time. Come on. 20 seconds to go. Blast. Well, that was annoying. Yeah, I was slightly outbid. Someone did put £80 at the end. So yeah, unfortunately I did get outbid by that. That is really annoying. Oh well. Sometimes these things happen, and I should have maybe gone with the £90 bid. It's fine. You know, life is what it is, so... oh well. Nothing to celebrate. I suppose the one thing is that I didn't lose anything. Who bid that, actually? This person actually made a bid on... When did they bid? Okay. Oh, this was like an I think it was like an automatic, like a max bid. So they actually put this bid on... they must have put this as like... Yeah, they put this bid on yesterday as like their max bid. So yeah, I just got outbid, annoyingly. Right, let me have a look. You know what, I'm going to go on to eBay now. I'm going to get the web page up here. ebay.co.uk. Get that up there. Get my Logitech up. Get that narrowed. Right up there. And I'm going to search for McDonald's Pokemon cards. You can't win all of them, guys. That's the annoying thing. Oh well. Right. So, yeah. I will still be posting this video up, and we will kind of just have a quick glance. Okay. I wish I'd put it as £85 or £90. That would have just got me there, because there doesn't seem to be any like big pulls in the McDonald's either. I'm so disappointed. There does not seem to be any massive like groups of them. There just seems to be more of these. There's like 10 packs for £29. I suppose that's £2.90, and that's 5 days to go. This means I'm going to probably have to do a secondary video on this, just trying to see if I can find any new packs. If there are any packs, I'll have a look now since we're already on, and just so I don't feel too disappointed. I did try and put in the 82 as an automatic bid on top, but it kind of fizzled out a few seconds beforehand. No, that's not enough. That's 5 packs for £10.50. It's fine, but I was looking for like 20 packs. There was a listing for 20 packs that I saw yesterday. That's for 1 pack. That's annoying. It's really annoying. No, that's for 1 sealed pack. So annoying. I got outbid. Yeah, I wish I'd been a little bit like less greedy and actually put the £90 up. But I suppose I haven't lost anything. I've got some content to put up. But yeah, it's not looking so good. I think there was something where there was like 20 packs available. I think, where did I have... There was something to do with like 20 packs. Please be... No, that's 2 times. That's 5 times. I'll go into 4 and then I will go back onto just general eBay. I think that will give me like the ones I've searched for recently. Move that out of the way a little. Yeah, oh well. I'll try and find another one soon, but yeah, it seems to be that I was a little bit unfortunate, a little bit unlucky not to get what I wanted, but it is how it is, you guys. I'm very disappointed I just didn't get what I wanted, but that's how life goes sometimes, and it's, you know, you can't always get what you want in life. It's a lesson that we all have to learn, and it's no loss for me anyway, and hope whomever gets the packs enjoys them. But that is the end of it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Please make sure to subscribe, like the video if you enjoy it, and share this to as many people as you can. I'm just trying to get those watch time hours up if I can at most. And thank you for your time.